Raise your hand if you're into trap music. Okay, so many of you. Now hands up if you're into rap. Gets better. Finally, hands up if classical music is what really gets you going. I'm talking those real large-scale orchestra, polyphonic, and acoustic heavy movements I know we all secretly love. Personally, I've always used these questions as icebreakers. Whenever I'm playing Two Truths and a Lie, I'll say the craziest things. Things like, I was born in the Bermuda Triangle and I've gone skydiving, yet for some crazy, amazing reason, whenever I say my two favorite genres of music are trap and classical, this is always considered a lie. I find it interesting that its impossibility comes from the fact that two entities are considered so dichotomous, that it's so difficult to imagine two contrasting things existing side by side, harmoniously. And while it might just be because I look like the type that would just listen to trap music, I choose it has to believe with the complexities of human character. If not because I have more faith in the intentions of all of you, because racial stereotyping would take an entirely different TED Talk and at least half an hour to unpack. So, dualities. Why exactly we are shocked by the multifaceted nature of human beings. I have a very popular modern day example. Remember when Kanye West expressed his adoration for President Donald Trump? Yes, Twitter essentially burst into flames, and every American news outlet had something to say about this. Largely because for so many years, Kanye West, had been so adamant in his advocacy for the African American community. Now, Trump has, without question, expressed racist sentiment, but Kanye West never claimed to be in support of such words. It could have been Trump's economic policy or frankness in expressing his opinions that garnered West's support. Yet, too many didn't want to hear what Kanye West had to say anymore. Understand the logic and reasoning that ultimately led West, along with the American population, to elect a man such as Donald Trump to the highest national office. Because now, to millions, Kanye West was canceled. With the potency of the internet increasing on a daily basis and data traveling practically at the speed of light, we are bombarded with information that makes for great headlines. A public figure says one word the wrong way, expresses a viewpoint they never have before, and it's mass controversy. Tweets from 8 years ago are dug up as dirt against public figures. And these things cost people their jobs, their livelihoods, their reputations. Why is this such a large part of our culture? Oslo Wayne asked, why the uproar? Because it is disconcerting when someone diverges from the stereotype that has been created for them, that their opinions in the past could ever contrast to those in the present. Because duality is disconcerting to us, yet this is counterproductive. It doesn't allow people to grow. People are unable to freely feel the folds and buttons and buckles and zips and facets of their characters if under constant scrutiny. So, how do we combat this problem? Axe it at its core, haul it out the window. Now, my suggestion, though it may sound to some as excessively poetic, is that we should try to comprehend the complexity of every single person we're surrounded by. I ask you all now, in the least creepy way possible, to close your eyes for a moment and think deeply about a stranger sitting to your left or to your right, in front of you or wherever. Now, their heads are full of childhood memories you've never seen before, maybe in a foreign language. Even their daily schedules are drastically different. See, every morning they switch off a familiar and maddening alarm you've maybe never even heard. They feel emotions differently, and they process them differently, and even their loved ones, their families, their best friends, brothers and sisters, and uncles and cousins are maybe their everything, but before this moment, you've never so much as comprehended or considered their existence. Now, think that the life of this stranger is still going on even as you drudge through a boring day. See, every day, the lives of people around you are constantly branching and forking, taking unimaginable paths, and all of us, perhaps, unfortunately, being confined to our own minds and bodies, are unaware of this. Yet, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed with life, I think it is liberating to know we live in such a truly open and complex world, one in which affections and emotion undoubtedly trump grades and petty drama and whether that person really wanted to sit with you at lunch or not. And this realization, it really helps. There was a point when I would become so overwhelmed just thinking about this, the realization I could never truly live as someone else. But then I think it kind of disintegrated with time because I got to know myself better. And thinking back to the complexities of people, knowing all of the complexities they can live with, is it still so shocking that someone could be fascinated by two different genres of music, or that the quietest girl in the class could be the loudest everywhere else? Are we still appalled when a liberal politician expresses a conservative opinion? I think it's harder to be. Yes, there was a point where I would become so overwhelmed with this realization, emotional, the fact that I could never truly live as someone else, hold their firsthand experiences and memories in my own palm. And I'm still very passionate about this, and frankly, trying to express this to everyone today without coming across as a madman gives me goosebumps, but the realization is not as saddening, because I've gotten to know myself better. I found that solitude is really good for you, and I know often we hear words like solitude and alone and back away like, no thank you, but if you're dependent upon the people around you, it's impossible to truly know yourself. If you're afraid of spending a Sunday alone just to watch Netflix, or walking to class not surrounded by an entourage of people, if FOMO is your mortal enemy, how will you ever get to understand what makes you you, what fascinates you, topics you could speak for hours on? If you're dependent upon everyone around you, ultimately, it's harder to succeed. You're making it harder for yourself. And perhaps it's impossible to completely know ourselves. I mean, we are complex creatures just with our impulses, and even just the subconscious, we have the id, ego, and superego. These are complicated characters. But what I'm saying is we can come close if we give ourselves the permission. Often we run away from ourselves. We hide in relationships. We use these as a way to avoid self-reflection. But if you don't like who you are when nobody's watching, if you're constantly comparing yourself to the perfect person over there, the one that's predicted 45 points, including HL math, and is a violin prodigy, and just a nice person and a third-degree black belt, if you're comparing yourself to that person, where are you going to find time to solve the puzzle that is yourself and your mind and the intricate ways that you think? A world of uniformity is literally gray. If we all just try to slow down for a moment, bring down our speeds, it seems to me we could achieve this unprecedented empathy. To me, at least, a lack of communication would be a monstrosity, cause mass entropy. If we, the people, are unable to listen to the opinions, memories, thoughts, and daydreams of both ourselves and colleagues, what can we possibly achieve? That would be walking through a field with tunnel vision. Yes, as hard as it is often to believe, people do not exist in caricature. And ultimately, to truly feel fulfilled, we must break away from the thought processes of other people and strive to understand and enjoy every complex aspect of our characters, the dozens of dualities, the millions of multitudes. My message isn't quite be yourself, but you can get to know yourself. Embrace all of your complexities. Thank you.